Dr. Sam Carpenter from Laidlaw College. Kia ora, thanks for your time today.
Kia ora morena, Andrew.
This is a difficult situation for the people of Ngāpuhi. As I mentioned, largest iwi in New Zealand, the first to sign Te Treaty, and tragically maybe the last to achieve a treaty settlement and the positive impact for their people. Take us back initially, though, to 1840. Of course, Ngāpuhi very central to the treaty even being possible.
Indeed. Well, Ngāpuhi is the country's largest iwi today and probably was always among the largest, and signed the treaty first at Waitangi and many other places in the north. And so it's a little bit of a reversal of the chronology.
Yep.
That they are among the last to settle. Certainly the largest, the last of the larger iwi to settle. Certainly, remembering that Ngāi Tahu and Painui settled in the 1990s.
Mm. What are some of the obstacles to this, Sam? What are some of the things that are getting in the way of progress towards settlement?
Yeah, well, I guess I should say at the outset, or disclose, if you like, that I did work on the settlement for the Waitangi Tribunal quite some years ago now.
Yep.
And was observing it when I worked for Office of Treaty Settlements as an historian there. Didn't work on the Ngāpuhi team, but this has been a long process. And the issue with any iwi is getting mandate to negotiate. That's the first base. And that's a process the Crown requires quite a rigorous. It's almost like a democratic election. You've got to get a certain volume of people of your membership base who support a group of negotiators to negotiate a settlement. So that's base one. So Ngāpuhi haven't got to base one.
Yep.
They've been stuck on this, not getting to base one for a good 10, probably closer to 20 years, actually.
I mean, some of that is part of the structure because they are such a large iwi. There's more voices at the table. There's more opinions. There's more perspectives there. So it's difficult to get the structure and the consensus. And Ngāpuhi sometimes describe themselves as an iwi of rangatira, that nobody wants to concede and recognise that one person can speak on their behalf. It may be inaccurate, but not necessarily a helpful situation for them to be in.
Well, the fact is that Ngāpuhi is not really a single tribe.
Okay.
It's at best it's a confederation of related hapu groups, perhaps related iwi groups even. I mean, some of the component groups are iwi in their own right, and the likes of Ngāti Hine and so on. So that's part of the problem. I mean, part of it's obviously personality politics. Part of it's more recent politics, I think, involving the runanga management of the fisheries assets. So there is a representative body for Ngāpuhi that manages the fisheries assets, the Sealord settlement from the 1990s. But I think some groups don't see eye to eye with the runanga. So there's their present day politics. But I mean, people say historically that Ngāpuhi is there's a saying, Ngāpuhi ko whao rau, Ngāpuhi of 100 holes, as in 100 holes of the fishing net. Yeah. There are many holes and there are many chiefs. There are many groups. But it's very hard to get all of these different parts of Greater Ngāpuhi into the room and on the same page. I mean, that's the basic challenge.
One of the other things which is, if anything, added complexity to the process is a report from the Waitangi Tribunal, which looked at the issue of sovereignty, and this seems to be the current sticking point which is making headlines. Ngāpuhi claim, backed by reports from the Waitangi Tribunal, that they did not cede sovereignty when they signed Te Treaty. The government said, well, we cannot do a deal on that basis, and are refusing to compromise or even to agree to disagree. This seems like even if they could get a consensus as who could negotiate on their behalf, this seems like a sticking point that it's difficult to move past. Sam?
It is a big issue in Northland discourse, and partly as a result of that tribunal hearing. I mean, I think I think in some ways that has become an abstract debate that's really unhelpful. It's really a dead end street.
Yep.
I mean, sure, we can negotiate, or the Crown can negotiate in time what tribal tino rangatiratanga means.
Yep.
That's the thing that the treaty guaranteed. But I think this debate over sovereignty per se has just got us in a tangle. Anyway, there's a lot more we could say about that.
No.
But the basic point is, at the moment, the Ngāpuhi is not even at the table.
Yeah.
Because they don't have their mandated negotiators.
The recent statements and comments from various politicians. Paul Goldsmith said that this is a non-negotiable in terms of sovereignty, but also, of course, there's been some comments. Shane Jones, who is himself Ngāpuhi, says that he has introduced a bill to say that the government will only deal with one group and that there's going to be a fixed deadline. This is only available for a limited time, said the Briscoes lady. Now, I suppose some people would say in their frustration for getting a result, hey, we need to move things forward, but in some ways, this is just getting people's backs up. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, that's no doubt reflecting Matua Shane Jones's frustration with where the iwi is at, in part. I mean, put it this way, the Crown doesn't like to settle with small groups, and I think there's a good sort of economic and kind of post-settlement arguments for that, because, if we'd settled with, say, smaller hapu groups, would have probably taken 100 years to do treaty settlements, rather than the 30 years or so that it's taken so far.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one issue, and then your purchasing power as a small group is not going to be not that effective. And I think Shane Jones' reference to confetti, this settlement is not confetti, I think is actually a legitimate comment, because if you split the iwi up into 8 or 10 or more, even more, hapu groups, then what sort of collective strength is that settlement going to represent for the people? So, I mean, so basically what I've come to is the Crown, I think, would prefer to negotiate one settlement.
Yep.
The second step is they'll negotiate commercial redress with as a collective, and then cultural redress with local or regional, hapu groupings.
Yeah.
And I think that's possibly a workable solution. But again, you just got to get everybody on the table with negotiating that kind of settlement.
Of course, the treaty negotiation ministers have come and gone, and at various points in the process, and you've been involved with some of that, there has been some optimism, and then those hopes have been dashed again. If anything, we seem to be further away than we've ever been, particularly with this sovereignty issue. Wouldn't it be nice to have this sorted before 2040, before the bicentenary of the signing of the treaty, particularly given the impact that this is having on the people of Ngāpuhi, certainly compared to what's happening with Ngāi Tahu, with an early settlement and the blessing and benefits that are evident for their people, Ngāpuhi being left behind in the north?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that is a big issue. I mean, as I say, Ngāi Tahu and Tainui and other groups have had their settlements for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Now, and they've grown their asset base, and with that, scholarships and educational, social development, all that sort of stuff. But Ngāpuhi is not in a position to do that. I mean, it has a small fishery settlement. I think it's I saw someone say that it's worth about 50 million in assets.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit small, but nevertheless, that's not much when you're dealing with an iwi of 125,000, members in the 2013 census.
Yeah.
So something needs to shift. And I mean, I'm aware there's a lot of great young leadership coming up through the ranks of Ngāpuhi, and perhaps we need to wait a few more years until they can emerge. But at the moment, it seems like the leadership is split. It's just not going to happen. But we do need to get it sorted. I mean, for the sake of the north and those northern peoples.
Any optimism that this could be sorted by 2040, Sam?
Oh, I think it needs to be. I think it absolutely needs to be. So, and I think at some point people are going to grasp the nettle and say we've just got to do this.
Yeah.
And hopefully, with older and younger leadership, that's going to happen. I mean, the Crown always says it's willing and able.
Yep.
To settle. Mandate is the sticking point here, as we've been saying.
Hey, appreciate your insight on what is a very complicated issue. Thanks so much for your time today.
Kia ora, Andrew.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.